Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Welcome home again. We've got lots of action today. We're going to get started visiting with Bill Bauhs, our architect, who's going to help us redesign this wonderful little two-flat. Then we're going to take you on a walking tour of some of downtown Chicago's most exciting buildings. Wonderful buildings that have just been put up in the last 10 years or so. And we'll get together with Ron Gann, our contractor, who's going to help us put all these changes into effect back here at our Greystone. So stay with me. It's good to have you home again.
Sears presents Home Again with Bob Vila.
We're downtown in the Loop, just a couple of blocks from the water tower. And Bill Bauhs' office is in this pretty little brick building here. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Good.
Good to see
How are
you.
you? This is a beautiful building you've got here. Tell me about it.
It's a Queen Anne Victorian. It was very typical of the buildings that were built just after the fire in Chicago.
But you don't see too many of them anymore.
Not anymore, and that's one of the reasons that it's listed on the National Register.
Really?
Yes.
I love the terracotta on it.
It was, there's quite a bit of it. You'll notice there's a bust of a woman over the door of our building.
Yeah.
And a bust of a man over the door of the next door building. It was built for a son and the daughter of a lumberman.
Oh, that's a neat story.
Yes.
Was it in good condition when you got it?
Terrible condition.
Really?
We had 8 coats of paint on it, and it took us a great deal of effort to restore it.
I can't imagine anybody painting over the
Shocking.
brick and the terracotta and everything.
Right.
Shall we get started?
Sure.
So what have you got done so far?
We've been to the building, and we've measured and put those measurements into our computer.
Oh, good.
And Mike has it on the screen here for us to take a look at.
So we're starting off with a little computer-assisted design.
That's right.
Hi, Mike. Yep, that's our place.
That's right. This is the footprint of the building, and running right through the building is a bearing wall, a little bit off center, with spaces about 8 feet wide or so on the north side and about 12 feet wide on the south side for the major rooms, the living room, dining room, and so forth.
Typical plan. You end up with
Absolutely.
hateful little tiny bedrooms.
That's right. This is very typical of a building of this type, and one of the things that's very important is to be able to conceive of opening up the wall
Right.
to create larger spaces. Mike, could you just illustrate how we can open up the plan by taking these walls out?
So we'd lose one little bedroom there.
That's right. But in trade, we'd create a very large room that was 22 feet wide by over 30 feet long.
So that would be the major family living and dining area.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, in place of that, though, we'd have to create a beam to take the loads that were in that bearing wall.
But we can use a modern engineered beam.
That's right. That's right.
So now we're down to 2 little bedrooms and a wonderful large room in the front.
Well, this is a little easier problem because the walls that run perpendicular to the bearing wall are not bearing and therefore can come out with ease.
Yeah.
Could you just illustrate that? Now we've got a space that's about 8 feet by 24 feet or
Funny
so.
space. What would you do with that?
That's the problem with this building. It really doesn't work for a master suite. I think it better the space be used for a wide galley kitchen with perhaps an eating area and take the current kitchen, combine it with the porch to create the master suite.
That's an interesting solution.
And I have drawings that illustrate that. Let's take a look.
Good. Well, Bill, computers are terrific, but I need something that I can roll up and take back to the site. You know?
Well, we have a copy of the plot from the computer images that you saw.
Sure.
And it shows the basement plan, the first floor plan, and the second floor plan.
Yeah, okay. And the master plan is to combine the basement with the first floor.
That's right. I think that gives the greatest amount of potential to use all the square feet in the building.
Yeah.
And we're essentially taking basement square feet that right now have very marginal value and bringing them up to market.
Exactly. We'll make it livable space as opposed to
That's
just
right.
practically dirt floors down there.
That's right.
Good. So what have you got to show us here?
Well, the first thing we did is we illustrated what the floor plan would look like when we take the wall out and replace it with a beam that we just saw on the video screen.
Right.
Here we have the opportunity for a very ample guest closet and family closet.
Wonderful.
Very comfortable conversation area in the front of the building with lots of space for plants and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
A fireplace if the budget permits.
Maybe.
And a dining room that's very gracious in scale.
Good. And then the space that we were just looking at is 8 by 24 does work out pretty well as a galley kitchen.
It works very exceptionally well because you really have 2 different zones. One is a wide-ish gallery that has a very good and efficient relationship between the refrigerator and the sink and the range, that triangle that's so important in kitchen planning. At the other end, there's plenty of room for a breakfast table for everyday eating with a banquette or window seat, if that seems appropriate.
That could just be a long built-in bench.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I like that. And then what have we got here?
Well, here we've combined the porch and the old kitchen by taking out this wall. I mean, this is we have to take out a masonry wall, so it means some steel.
Wow.
But it allows us to have a very generous master suite with a dressing area and the master bedroom.
Lots of closet space.
Lots of closet space.
And the bathroom looks like you've enlarged it.
We did. We took out a hutch that had some marginal value in this passageway and essentially put that square footage in the bathroom, which gives us a more generous vanity, gives us an opportunity to have a linen closet in addition to the tub shower.
Right. Now, you're showing a staircase down to the basement that doesn't exist there yet.
Right, that's our future. That's the stair to the future.
Yeah.
And it allows us to efficiently go underneath the stair going up, which doesn't take as much square footage.
Right.
And it takes us to a very nice potential for a basement room.
So that we could have a second stage of remodeling occur here when budget allowed it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And as families grow, too. I mean, this would be a wonderful first floor for a couple, and if they have children and so forth, there's potential for 2 more bedrooms as well as a very large family room.
Right. So that, what about mechanicals and pipes and things like that?
Well, mechanicals, we've clustered along the north wall. We have the washer, dryer, and laundry sink, the hot water heater, and the furnace all along the north wall. So when we bring in, for instance, when we bring in water service for the early phases, we'd want to bring that to this future mechanical room.
So the point is that we want to have all those mechanicals ready and waiting for a secondary stage of development.
That's right.
Good. Yeah, that could be a wonderful kind of kids' floor there eventually.
That's right.
Yeah. And then the rental unit up on the top.
Well, the rental unit, we feel that with the budget, there's not a lot that we should do or can do. One thing that would help a lot would be to open up that bearing wall as we did on the first floor, and bring the beautiful staircase into the room, as visually a part of the room.
Yes, so that you'd walk in down below and you'd feel like you were already in your private space.
That's right. And it's just more space in the unit.
Yeah. And then what do we do to make it more rentable?
Well, we're taking out one wall here where there was a pantry to make the smallish bedroom a little larger. These are 8'3" by 12'6", and there's 2 of them in addition to a study.
Yeah.
And the kitchen, we're showing an upgraded kitchen cabinets and essentially leaving the back porch as is.
Yeah, so this will be the smaller budget, and yet it'll be a real nice space up there once we've done it.
That's right.
All right, Bill, how about working drawings?
Well, we'll get started on them as soon as we have a go-ahead.
I'll give you a week or 2. Okay, thanks a lot. We're going to have to break for some commercial messages, and when we come back, we'll get together with Susan Benjamin and take a look at some beautiful Chicago buildings, so stay with me. You know, in the 20 years since I got out of college, I've had a chance to see a lot of skyscrapers go up all over America, but nowhere has as big a concentration and as many beautiful buildings as Chicago. Right now, let's get together with Susan Benjamin, who's an architectural historian.
Hi, Bob. Welcome
Hi,
to Chicago.
Thank you so much. And you've had the awesome task of picking 5 buildings to show us today.
And that was a tough one in this city.
Yeah.
We have so many wonderful buildings.
Susan, Chicago's really the birthplace of the skyscraper, isn't that right?
It is indeed. In the 1880s and 1890s, men like Louis Sullivan designed the first steel frame elevator buildings.
And yet those buildings were only, what, 15-story buildings?
16 stories maximum.
But back then they must have seemed...
They were very tall then.
Very, very tall.
Yes.
And then in the 30s, was it, that we had Mies van der Rohe running away from the Nazis coming here to Chicago?
He arrived in Chicago and set the pace for the next 30 years for architecture with his rectangular boxes that modern buildings that were, you know, set the tone for a long time.
The curtain wall that we see all over America.
That's right, the steel and glass.
Well, this is the first building you wanted to talk about.
And one of my favorites. This is the building that every Chicagoan loves to love.
What's it called?
It's called the 333 Wacker Drive building.
Right. And who designed it?
It was designed by Cohn Pedersen Fox, a New York firm, which is in itself ironic because for many years Chicago architecture had been very inbred, and it took, a New York architect to really make a strong statement in our city.
And what is it that's so strong? Why do Chicagoans either love it or hate it?
Well, the buzzword these days is contextual.
Yeah.
Which means that it fits its environment so well.
The site.
The site.
Yeah.
Its 365-foot curve follows the curve of the Chicago River on this side.
On this facade.
On this facade, and on the other side, its angular shape follows the grid of Chicago streets.
So that it's really maximizing the use of the lot.
Absolutely.
And yet it creates an unusual shape.
It does.
Yeah.
And in addition, it repeats patterns from the buildings around it and even reflects
the bridges and the buildings around it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a beautiful building. I really love the reflective glass. spectacular. And it's
wonderful.
Strictly an office building, right?
It's strictly an office building.
Great. What other buildings are we going to look at?
We're going to see the Daily Center.
Super.
This is made out of Corten steel.
What is that?
It's a kind of steel that starts out a brightish, rusty-looking red and then weathers to a wonderful, mellow, brownish red.
And doesn't need to be maintained, right?
Not at all, no.
And of course the sculpture by Picasso is pretty unbelievable.
It's an integral part of the whole setting.
Yeah, what's it made out of? The same material?
It's also made out of Corten steel.
It's wonderful.
Yes, it really is.
Tell us about the design. Who's the architect here?
The design is by Jack Brownson, who is a follower of Mies van der Rohe, and this is very much the typical Mies van der Rohe type building.
Why?
It's a rectangular grid where it's similar on all four sides. It is very classical and straightforward. The interior space is open, so it can be subdivided any way that the occupancy fit. This is used for courtrooms.
Oh.
And so that it accommodates large courtrooms, small courtrooms, offices, many different size spaces.
Indeed. And then, of course, it sits on about a city block, but it only takes up a small portion of the
It
site.
occupies 35% of the site, and the rest of it is this marvelous civic kind of piazza.
Yeah,
where
it's wonderful.
It's perfect for civic meetings and programs.
Demonstrations.
And I was going to say that, and I thought I'd let you. But you're right.
Well, I think a lot of people will recognize this building.
They should. It's the Sears Tower, 110 stories.
Tallest building in the world.
Tallest building in the world. 16,500 people work there.
That's about the size of a small town.
It is indeed. And they reach their offices by 103 elevators.
103 elevators.
103 elevators, some of which go to sky lobbies
Yeah.
to transfer them to other floors.
How was it built?
It's a steel frame building. It's really 9 towers bundled together, column-free spaces in each of those
So that
separate
you got
towers.
wide open spaces on each
Wide
floor.
open spaces on
That's
each
spectacular.
floor.
What an enormous scale.
It is. It's an elegant, tall building, like a piece of Cubist sculpture. But now I'm going to show you something a little bit smaller and more human scale. This is the State of Illinois building designed by Helmut Jahn. Commands a real presence on this corner, and with its vitality and color and picturesque qualities, it couldn't be more different.
It
than
sure
the
is
Mies van der
different,
Rohe
really.
building.
It calls attention to itself,
It
too,
does
yeah.
indeed. It's got a lot of pizzazz, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Well, the most exciting part's inside. Shall we go look?
Sure.
Okay.
This is neat.
Isn't it
Yeah.
wonderful?
Exciting. All the crowds everywhere.
I know. Well, that's because this is really a people place.
It really is.
It is. It has the monumentality of a public place because this is a state office building
Yeah.
with a 17-story atrium
Yeah.
topped by a truncated cylinder that is, you know, supposed to be like the dome of a Capitol building.
Monumental space in a very 21st century kind of way.
Very, very high tech
Yeah.
with exposed machinery and
And all the
exposed
elevators,
structure. Yes, and it's a very kinetic place. There are people moving through it. It's very alive and playful and optimistic. And the architect saw it as an optimistic place.
This is Helmut Jahn.
Yes,
Yeah.
Helmut Jahn. Very colorful and a very exciting environment to work in and to walk through and to enjoy with shops and restaurants. It's a multi-purpose place.
As well as a lot of state offices.
As well as, which is its primary function, 1 million
Right,
square feet
right,
of state
yeah.
offices.
But it's much more pleasant to have to visit a state office in an environment like this than in a grand bureaucratic building.
Oh, considerably.
Sure. And what are we looking at next?
My favorite, the NBC building.
Super. So Susan, what part of the city are we in now?
Bob, we're at City Front Center, right on the edge of Chicago's Magnificent Mile.
Right.
adjacent to some of Chicago's masterpiece buildings, including the Tribune Tower with its lacy flying buttresses, the Equitable Building, the Miesian Building next to it,
Yeah.
the new Prudential Towers.
All of these are landmarks in their own right.
They are indeed. And what's marvelous is the NBC Tower, the focus of this new development, creates a dialogue with the wonderful old buildings around it. The contextualism
Right.
that we talked about originally.
Yes, the buildings don't turn their backs on each other.
They sure don't. They create a real conversation.
What is it about this building, the NBC Tower, that makes it your favorite?
Well, the contextualism, plus its elegance and sophistication and marvelous simplicity of
Yeah,
design.
it reminds me of another building. I'm not sure which.
It reminds you of the RCA building at Rockefeller Center, and Adrian Smith, the designer from Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, intended that. It was his inspiration for this building.
Indeed, it is a very elegant building. But it's a very elegant town.
Well, thank you, Bob. Come again soon.
Thanks for the tour. We've
My
got a break
pleasure.
for some messages, and when we come back, we'll go back to work on our little two-flat, so stay with us. Well, from the world of big buildings back to our street and to our little building, and to meet Ron Gann.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Ron. And Ron is going to be our general contractor here. He's going to help us implement some of those ideas that Bill Bauhs has shared with us earlier. What do you think of his plan?
I think it's a good plan, Bob. It's taking a narrow space, and I think he's going to be able to open it up and make it very livable and bright and airy, and I'm real excited about it.
Yeah, I am too. Have you taken a good look at this place? Is it doable?
Yeah, I think it's definitely doable, Bob. In fact, we just did a little bit of investigating in there, kind of look at some situations around the bearing wall, and I'd like to take you in and show you.
You've torn down some plaster already?
We took a little bit of plaster down, and I want to show you what we've done.
Exciting.
Well, Bob, it sounds like we have something going on here already.
Exciting, yeah. So all these little walls are going to be...
Right.
Wow.
This is Lenny from Inner City Demolition, and we're having him give us an exploratory hole here. The reason being is that the key to this project is going to be the removal, of this bearing wall here.
Right.
And we want to verify that this is in fact a bearing wall. The floor joists above are bearing on it and carrying the weight.
I did not envy him that demolition job. That is diamond mesh metal lath, which was probably put on there as a remodeling maybe 40 years ago, right over the old wooden lath.
Yeah, it looks like it to me, and you have these arches here which are not typical of a 1900s building, so I think you're right about that.
Yeah, the arches probably were put in the 30s at the time that they put in a new ceiling. And that is tough stuff to tear apart, yeah. So there's no surprises up there, right?
No, it looks to me like the joists are bearing right on this wall right here.
And if we want to take those wall studs out of there, we have to replace that structure.
Right, and what we're going to replace it with is a header, a beam that's going to go across here. And we have a little section of the building here. This is the basement, first floor, and second floor.
Yeah.
Here's where you're standing right now, Bob.
Okay, in front of that wall.
In front of this wall. What we want to do is we want to take all the studs that go right here out and replace those with a beam or a header that'll go across here to carry the weight from the second floor. And we're going to transfer the weight down some posts right here, down these posts here, down to some more posts into the basement, and those are going to bear on some concrete footings.
Yeah.
And that'll carry the weight, and we'll be able to open this space up very nicely.
Yeah, there's a lot of delicate work involved here, because before we can remove all those wall studs, we really have to do some shoring up to hold up that second floor, and we have to engineer that header beam to find out exactly what size it should be.
That's right.
So what Lenny's doing right now is really just preliminary, exploratory demolition,
That's
right?
right. The beginning surgery on the job.
I'm glad he's doing it. We'll be back after these messages. And we brought the rest of the crew in here to make quick work of it, but we're running short of time for today. It's a wrap. Next week, we'll be completing the demolition, and we'll be showing you how to shore up that second floor so that we can eventually make the restructuring, put in that header beam. But we're going to take you to Vancouver, British Columbia, to a factory where they manufacture these wonderful laminated beams that can take all that load. We're also expecting a visit from the plumber who's going to replace the water service here. We have an old lead pipe that's going out, and we're going to replace it with copper. That and much more, so I hope you'll join us. Till then, I'm Bob Vila.